had a man open there, just a little bit underthrown. May have been expecting the wide receiver to break across the field a little bit more, but that'll show up on the wide receiver's tape either way, that he was able to get that separation and get open.
Exactly.
So what you're going to see here, it looks like you're going to see the passing attack is going to have a running back. I'd imagine a tight end and a couple wide receivers. Where on the defensive end, you're going to see a couple cornerbacks. I imagine probably 2 cornerbacks, a safety. I'm not sure if we saw any defensive linemen on that last rush attack, though.
Yeah, they're getting set up right now for the next round. So, yeah, from a defensive standpoint, maybe 3 linebackers. All right, here we go. We're getting set up.
Does not look like we have any sort of defensive lineman out on the field. Looks like probably 2 cornerbacks, 3 linebackers, and 2 safeties. So it looks like the defense is going to have an extra man out on the field. Looks like there might have been a little bit of confusion in terms of what the play call was for one of the wide receivers.
So it's a 4-receiver set with a running back.
4-receiver set with a running back, and obviously the quarterback. It looks like this might be a full-out 7-on-7 possibly. So you've got the person snapping. So we have.
All right, yeah, six.
Okay, there we go. Now we're 6-on-6. I think we had 1 extra man out on the defensive side before.
Too many men on the ice penalty just called.
So we might have 7.
And
looks
so
like they're kind of mixing it up a bit.
Yeah, obviously you're increasing the number of participants here, so there's a lot more choreography that has to take place in order to get this structured. So the quarterback trying to look at what play he's going to be able to run, get his receivers and his offensive players on the same page. So positioning where are they supposed to be on the line. So, and again, you're talking about players you haven't worked with before, so it's going to take some time to get in sync until they feel comfortable. So it is taking a little while to get the drill set up. From a defensive standpoint, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think it does look like 1 extra man.
It looks like 7. So you've got the 4 wide receivers. You've got the running back and the quarterback, and with the offensive lineman, that would be 7. Oh, had him open, streaking. That was a nice interception there. Had him streaking down the field. Try to laser that ball in there instead of giving the ball a little bit of arc. The wide receiver had him beat going deep, but instead the cornerback tried to fit it into a tight window, and the cornerback was able to undercut the route.
Yeah, I guess it helps understanding which player was on offense and defense in that drill. I said it was a nice pass. It was a nice pass if you were the defensive player. So.
Yeah, as you can see, this also allows the defense more time to set up. The prior drills, when you just had the 3-on-3, was basically we've got 3 levels of defense that we have to cover. Here, you can get a better base set. You possibly set yourself up in a zone if you really feel inclined to, and you're going to have a better chance of coming away as opposed to 3-on-3 with the ball. But with a 7-on-7, obviously the quarterback has a little bit more freedom in terms of what he wants to do. It looks like the quarterback will be calling his own routes with maybe a little bit of help from the coaching staff. But in calling his own routes, it's going to put him more directly responsible for the end of the play result. So here's exactly what Donnell was talking about before with your football IQ and your acumen. You have to know something. It's an intangible, as you were saying as well, Eric. You know, anyone with a good arm that can be a quarterback, but in order to be able to call a play, to make the adjustments, especially when it comes to having 5 other people out on the field with you, it's a lot to process for a quarterback, and it's going to be all the more impressive when they can do it correctly.
It is. So again, we're going to have 6 offensive players here, 4 receivers set, 1 running back in the backfield.
Seems to be a nice little possible wheel route by the wide receiver there, came out of the backfield.
So just focusing on the quarterback alone on that play, some nice fakes. So he did a nice fake to the left, Then he did a pump fake, and then he was going long to his receiver who was wide open coming down the right side. So one of the things as a quarterback is your ability to look off defenders and trick defenders, obviously, into where they think you're going with the ball and where you ultimately do.
Yeah, that is going to be a little bit easier when there's not any sort of pass rush coming at you.
True.
But it is good to see.
But it is a fundamental.
Yes,
though.
It's
Even
good
if
to
there
see
is
he has that ability to move defenders off of where he wants to throw the ball.
Right. I mean, you're going to do that even if you have a lineman draped all over you anyways. You're, or on his way. Part of your job is to make sure you can get your receiver open any way possible, and some of that's based on some of the motions you do, head fakes, pumps.
Even if they weren't both full pumps, maybe one of them was intended to be a throw. That is good to show that he is able to go through his progressions. Mm-hmm. So he went through his first route wasn't there, second route wasn't there, and then found the third one on the right sideline for the completion. So seeing that he can do his route progressions is very important.
Right, exactly.
So like we said,
and when the quarterback is really good, you can't tell if it's a progression or if he's just calling it off.
Absolutely.
Right.
Maybe some of them. I know Ben Roethlisberger is pretty well known for his pump fake. But you never know. Then there's some quarterbacks who that's a big detriment for them. It's a big thing with Jay Cutler here in Chicago. They say he doesn't go through his route progressions, especially last year. If a quarterback's got a favorite wide receiver, he's going to be looking for him.
Lock the eyes on a certain receiver. So he had his man open, just wasn't able to complete the pass on that attempt there. We're going to get a look at the replay. All kinds of time in the pocket.
And a nice little pump fake there, too. But then, just out of the reach of the wide receiver. That's a throw he's got to make, though. And you have to wonder what goes through the quarterback's head at an event like this when he misses that kind of pass. He's got a wide open wide receiver that basically in this scenario of 6-on-6 would be a touchdown.
Right.
And he misses the pass. So you just have to think, how does that affect him when he goes to the next time when it's his turn to throw? Is it going to affect him when he goes to make his next throw down the field?
If he's like any athlete, you miss passes in practice too. So you just got to shake it off and move on to the next one. And so that's probably one of the things you're going to be looking for too, is does he have the ability to shake off a missed pass and then complete the next one? A little underthrown on that pass there. I think the receiver just had a little bit break on him if he could let him a little better, but the defender was able to get a hand on it.
Good camaraderie shown there too by the wide receiver and the defensive back. You're going to get a good replay here of it. Yeah, a little bit underthrown. He had a good break, but it's still pretty good coverage on it.
Right.
They had a nice little high five afterwards, so you can see they're still enjoying themselves out there. They're still just trying to have a good time and make sure that you come to these things. You don't want to come off as you can let your personality shine, but you don't want to be the kind of person who's noticed for the wrong reasons.
Right. Yeah, everything goes in the notebook, right? So even things like that, how are you performing from a sportsmanship standpoint when you're in the heat of the battle, things like that, they get noticed. You don't want to have a player on your side who's going to cost you 15 yards for unsportsmanlike conduct or anything along those lines. So everything gets evaluated.
You'll see there may have been an audible being called. Looks like we actually have an offensive lineman this time.
Center?
Yes. Doesn't look like he's involved in the play as much as just snapping it. A nice little crossing route there, and a very nice pass to put it only where the wide receiver could get it. Was able to climb up the ladder and complete the catch.
And then once the pass is made, everything is done by the receiver after that. There's a lot of yards after catch there.
See the instant replay coming up. So you can see plenty of time. Nice pump fake there.
Crossover
and all the way up. Be able to get all the way up to the high point and make the catch. And then able to escape from the. Obviously, they're not playing full tackle here, but is able to break away from the defender.
Well, and we talked about some of the drills we did before we headed into the individual drills. The L drill, or the 3-cone drill. That's what the receiver had to do there. Once he made the catch, then he's breaking up field like that, so he's quickly got to shift his body and go upfield, and he was able to do that nicely. And some of those drills replicate what you see on the field on every play.
As soon as they get it from another play, looks like maybe taking a shot from the snap from the shotgun here for the first time. Good snap by the center.
And again, underthrown. Was the receiver where he was supposed to be on that play? These are things we won't know. Obviously, that's something that, between the quarterback and the receiver, was it underthrown or did the receiver make the wrong break?
All right, we see the replay here. It's a good snap by the center. You see him coming here on the outside. Yeah, I think there was a miscommunication there. The wide receiver kept running.
Yeah, quarterback thought it was going to be an in route, and he was going straight down.
Taking another shot from another snap from the shotgun here. He's making a few changes on the fly, it looks like, based off of the defense that he's reading. It looks like everyone else is ready except for the. There we go. Oh, just off the fingertips. Could not reel it in.
Another one they want to have back, right?
Yeah, we'll see it again right here. Another clean snap. Good tight spiral, and just tried to get out the full extension on it, but just off the fingertips, couldn't reel it in.
And the unfortunate thing is there wasn't a man around him on that play, though. So those are the ones you definitely want to make as a quarterback.
He got himself open and just wasn't able to finish the play.
Right.
And somebody either's performing self-punishment there or got in trouble from one of the coaches. Yeah, who knows? A little self-discipline there for...
Hey, whatever works. Whatever motivates you.
They're trying to get set up for the next one. They got a couple footballs there in the middle, and I'm not sure if the quarterback or the center gets to pick whether they like one better than the rest of them.
We're not going to Deflategate, are we? We're talking about ball inflation now, or?
I hope not. I was pretty sure that was done with. I wouldn't have to hear about it. Got enough of that over the off season.
All right, so more shotgun work. It looks like.
Which makes sense. I'm not sure if maybe he's the lone center we have here in the crowd. You can see another pump fake. Solid footwork by the quarterback. And really a nice throw.
Nice.
It was a great grab by the wide receiver. A little bit thrown just behind him, but was able to pull it back from behind his head and pull in the catch.
So he's looking at a couple different options, doing his progressions there, and he found his last outlet there nicely.
You can see he's going to go deep downfield. A really nice catch by the wide receiver.
And we're going to shift gears a little bit, and we're going to have an interview for you as well. We're going to be talking to Anthony Ionati, who's the quarterback for the Chicago Chaos, the four-time champion Chicago Chaos. So he's going to be joining us here in a minute, taking some time out after the Combine to spend some time with us. So we'll give him a minute to get set up, and then we'll get into it here. How you doing, Anthony? I'm Eric Willowhite. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Breck Ogle.
Anthony.
Nice to meet you, Anthony.
So, Anthony, what are your thoughts? You've gone through the Combine here. Were you involved in last year's Combine as well?
I was, yes. The first inaugural Combine here with the GFL. We did some good things last year. I definitely think this year's we learned from our mistakes and improved on it and made it a lot more functional for everybody involved. And I think we got a lot done. A lot of good players out here today, and saw a lot of good things.
Now, what is your goal when you come to this Combine event? It's your second one, as you said. What is your goal coming out of this combine? What is it that you're looking to achieve?
Honestly, just being able to get out here and compete. It's been a long winter, long fall, long winter, long off season for us. Just being able to get back out here and throw to some live competition, see some new faces, and just compete overall. I love to compete and get off the couch and throw some balls around, and it's awesome just being back in the football atmosphere.
How's your off-season training typically work for you?
Mine is actually pretty intense compared to a lot of people's. I actually recently have been signed to play arena football for the Chicago Eagles out of the UIC Pavilion. So I've really amped up my training this off-season. And my younger brother, who just graduated from Southern Illinois, is training for the NFL Combine this February. So me and him have gotten into a program together, and we've been going at it. And it's been fun. It's been really fun. Love everything about it, and I can't wait to get started.
Now, for the Arena League, are you playing quarterback?
I will. I'll be playing quarterback. We start camp around the end of January, and our first game will be at home at the UIC Pavilion, February 27th against the Windy City Ravens.
That's outstanding.
I would have to ask. Obviously, you've been in the GFL for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah, 3 years.
What was the change like in you from players on the field from 8 to 9 to 11?
It's funny, growing up, you play 11-man. That's the game, and coming out of college, being asked to transition to the 8-man game. A lot of people say, it shouldn't be. It should be a lot easier, especially for the offense with less guys on the field. But as a quarterback, it honestly helped me grow as a pocket passer. With 3 offensive linemen, the edge rushers are coming in at you a lot quicker. The pocket's going to be a lot smaller and more condensed. So as far as receivers running routes and getting open, there was a lot more space. But, being in the pocket, getting rid of the ball quickly, avoiding the rush, that helped my game grow in a way that the 11-man game really didn't. So when I switched over back to the 11-man game, I was already improved in that facet, and it really did help me. So as far as, the way the GFL is, developed and grown since I've been a part of it, it's been awesome. We have great leaders, Mike Melody, Tom Osborne. Those guys are doing great things out here. Every year they're improving on what we've done in the past and, really putting a good product out there for the fans, and I think that's the most important thing.
And when you talk about the growth of the league and improvement, the league is jumping from 8 teams to 14 teams going into 2016. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, that's a great opportunity for a lot of players as well.
I think that's great, especially with the Chicago area. There's a lot of people, a lot of players out there that have talent that should be playing football still. A lot of guys come out of college, out of high school, and they think, I don't make the NFL. That's it for my career, but that's not the case. We're out here, we're giving guys a chance to stay out there, stay in shape, play the game they love while they still can, and improving the league to 14 teams. I think that's going to be a huge step for us as far as geographics, traveling, cutting down on travel costs, and just the overall competition of the league. Bringing in teams that were competitive in other leagues that won championships, bringing them into our league. It's only going to make the league better, and we want to be playing the best competition. No one wants to go and win a 70-0 game, as fun as it may be. So being in a battle every single week, I think that's what we're working for here with these teams.
So now that you're moving on, how do you feel about the Chaos's chances this upcoming year?
It's funny. These guys have never had a problem replacing guys. Year after year, we bring in new talent. I'm going to still be involved as far as staying with them. The Eagle season will go through the middle of June, so I'll be able to rejoin the team. Not necessarily as a player per se. Depending on what contract I'm under, but I'll still be involved as far as coaching and being involved with the players and stuff. But I definitely think they'll still be a competitor for sure. They got a great building block and great coaches, as I said. And obviously we're out here, we're recruiting. There's a lot of great players out here that anybody can be replaced.
And one of the things we were talking about with this Combine event is one of the reasons why the league likes to do this, obviously, is to give players an opportunity who may be able to get seen by the next level of football if that's what their desire is. And I would imagine a person like yourself is a good example to the other players in the league that, hey, you can play in this league and still have an opportunity to move into a next level of football. It may not be the goal for everyone in this league, but for those that do have that desire, you and others may be a good example
Exactly,
of that.
And that's one of the focuses of our league especially is, we've developed partnerships with arena football teams, whether it was the Chicago Blitz last year or the now Chicago Eagles this year. We've had CFL scouts at our combines before last year, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and we want guys to move on. That's the goal. We want guys to be able to come out here and say, all right, I didn't make it out of college, I didn't make it out of high school, I may not have gotten my shot, but if I keep working, if I keep pushing the pedal to the metal, I can get an opportunity to go somewhere. And with guys like me, we actually have 6 guys from the Chaos roster last year signed to the Eagles for this coming season.
Wow,
that's very impressive.
So there's 6 guys from the Chaos, another guy from the league, Calvin Phillips from the North Shore Express, the running back, actually just got picked up by the Eagles today from his work at the Combine. So it is proof that this stuff can happen, and it should be motivating these guys to keep at it. You want to keep chasing your dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. We had actually talked to Calvin earlier, and he had said there was a scout here watching him. So it's great to know that they actually decided to pick him up then.
And I definitely think, especially with the partnerships that we've had with the Chaos, especially moving forward to the Eagles, that team camaraderie that we've built, having 6 other players with me that I know from this league is only going to make our team stronger. If you bring in 20 random guys from across the country, put them on a team and expect them to go out there and win, it's going to take a little time. But we've been playing together for the last 3-4 years. We're already going to have that chemistry going into camp, so it'll just be that much easier to get going.
Have you been given any early advice as to how different the Arena Football League is, or how to work with the walls?
I had a little bit of a stint last year with the Chicago Blitz after the Chaos season, and got a little bit of the exposure to that game. It's definitely different as a quarterback. The ball's got to come out a lot quicker. Things are going to happen a lot faster. The windows for your receivers are going to be twice as tight. So it's definitely an adjustment, but I can't wait to get to work. Once we get the roster set, we'll open up camp middle of January, and then we'll get rolling. First game end of February, and we should be ready.
It's outstanding. So the season's starting for you in February then. In the meantime, you said you'll have training camp coming up.
Yep.
Between now and then, what are you going to be up to?
Me and my younger brother both just finished up college. He's coming home. He's been gone for the last 4 years, so we're actually taking a little 1-week vacation down to Florida to visit our dad. And then once we get back, it's basically, nose to the grindstone, training 5-6 days a week, going up to the facility up in Gurnee or Libertyville, wherever it may be, and hitting the weights, throwing. Me and him throw every day, and just getting ready. Playing football is all about what you do off the field, and if you're putting the work in off the field, you're going to see the results on the field. So that's always been our motto. We've always been coached that way, and I think that's most of the reason why we've had the success that we've had.
Any other brothers coming up through the pipeline?
Unfortunately not. It's just me and him. All the Chaos guys were joking, once Mark, my younger brother, graduated, he was going to come replace me with the Chaos, and I told him, nah, not so fast. He's got his sights set a little higher. And, I couldn't be more proud of him.
Now, you went to Schaumburg High School, is
We
that
did,
correct?
yeah.
And Mark went there
yes,
as well?
Yeah,
okay.
we were 2 years apart. Yeah.
Schaumburg Saxons, very
Schaumburg
good. So did you get a chance to play with each other on the same team?
It's funny. I was a senior. He was a sophomore. He was my backup senior year, so but one play that does stand out in the playoffs against Warren, we actually got to run a play where I threw a lateral to him and ran around the end. He caught it and then threw it back to me for a touchdown. So
that's a play to remember.
That was a really cool play for our family, and got that one on videotape, and we'll cherish that one for a while. Yeah.
I imagine. So
obviously you said you plan on staying involved. And this is the first year now that you guys allowed high school juniors and seniors.
Yeah. Has
there been any sort of difference that you felt in the air, or has there been anybody who's kind of really impressed you today?
Yeah, honestly, there's a bunch of guys out here that I've been looking at. I've been talking, close with Mike. We've been, keeping our notes of what guy, because we know what positions we have to fill. And, it's honestly just about, finding the best fit, not only as a player but as a person. We want the guys that are going to come in, they're going to, be team players. That's a big part of the success that we've had, is we've had guys who have come in who they play their role. They know we're a 4-time defending champion. We have, the roadmap to how this works. You're either going to come in and you're going to, fall into place, or you're going to get out. And, that's the kind of people we need. We need people that are going to come in, fill the roles that we need, and help the team in the best way possible. And if we can get some of those guys out here along with being good athletes, I think we'll be okay.
Well, Anthony, we appreciate you taking some time out to be able to talk to us today.
As you said, you can catch him February 27th.
February 27th, UIC Pavilion, 7 p.m. Tickets are on Ticketmaster right now, actually, so we'll be promoting that through Facebook and other social media outlets. But yeah, it's going to be really fun. I can't wait. I think Chicago really does need that arena football atmosphere back since the Rush have been gone, and I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Well, it's great, and it's great to have some local products participating in that as well. That would help it grow it even more so.
Right.
So Anthony Ionati, former quarterback for the Chicago Chaos, now your new quarterback for the Chicago Eagles in the AFL. Congratulations to you, and again, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you very much, guys.
Awesome, guys. Thanks again. Throw in the center who just snaps, but he's there, so he counts. We don't want to neglect the centers.
They're just as important as anybody else. Oh, left wide open back in the flat. Safety came up to cover the man cutting across the field, and he just bled right through the outside.
Yeah, that might be a byproduct of maybe being at the tail end of some of the events here, and people not where they're supposed to be positionally. So, well, that was great for Anthony to stop by and talk to us. And again, we talked about these being showcase events, and he's moving on to the Arena League. And I didn't know it, but 5 other players or 6 other players from the Chaos are going to be joining him.
Right, I think it's really impressive, not only for the Chaos, but just for the GFL in general, to have that kind of people that they can show and say, hey, we've had 6-7 people move on to the Arena Football League this year. And it's a good marketing tool that they can use in terms of bringing in more players, and obviously it's working.
It is. You don't go from 8 teams to 14 teams without having that type of vision in terms of what you want the league to be and how you're going to use it, and you're not going to have 6 other teams join if they didn't think that this league was doing what it's supposed to be doing and going places. So it's a great tribute to the league itself to be able to expand like that, because that's pretty aggressive. You're not talking going from 8 to 10. You're going from 8 to 14.
Yeah, you're adding 3/4 of your current teams you're adding those back in.
Right.
So obviously they've got the interest, they've got everything else that they need. So it's just a matter. It might take some of those teams maybe a little bit while to catch up, but they're able to get fully stocked in a year or two and have a 14-team league that's pretty competitive in terms of. You don't see many minor league systems or amateur systems that big.
No, you don't.
But yeah, obviously great for Anthony to stop by. Give us a really different perspective into all of this. Lets us see it from the player's point of view, not just in terms of competing from the combine, but what the GFL can do for you on a personal level, and the fact that he still feels the commitment to the Chaos, I think, speaks volumes to how he feels the GFL has impacted him and his life after college.
Absolutely. That was a great takeaway from that, Brett, which is even though he's moving on to the Arena League and he's going to be focusing on his next chapter of football, by all means, he wants to stay involved with the Chaos in some shape, form, or fashion. And I believe a lot of that has to do with how he was able to develop in this league and how he was able to grow, and he feels a sense of gratitude to the league and want to stay involved. So hats off to him for being able to do that.
Yeah, and obviously good luck to his brother. Hopefully he ends up being drafted up in May.
Right. So you're watching continuing coverage of the GFL Combine here for 2015. We're at the Mack Center in McCook, Illinois, and I think we're on hour 3, if I'm not mistaken, Brett.
Something like that, yeah.
We don't count, though. No, who's counting? Who's counting?
Yeah, but just to reiterate, I am Brett Gogol. This is my partner, Eric Willow-White, coming to you from SportsTownChicago.com. As we see, we've been going through the combine now for a few hours. We're seeing different passing drills going on the field right now. Obviously, all of the different combine-wide drills have been wrapped up in terms of major events, 40-yard dash, bench press, and everything. So this seems to be mostly what's left is these passing drills where the scouts can get a good idea and a good read on several different layers of offense and defense at the same time.
Exactly. And so, it may seem monotonous, repetitive, but a lot of football drilling is exactly that, drilling until you get it right. And so that's what you're looking at here when you're looking at these passing drills.
Yeah, and you know what? You'd rather see them go through it multiple times and make those mistakes. We've seen a few underthrown balls, and you know what? Maybe you want to have those back when you're doing that in front of scouts, but they do want to see how you're going to bounce back from that. They want to see if you're going to be able to go out there and make the next throw that is just as important as the one you just missed. So as I said, you're getting a great view here from several different angles, and you're going to see the center hike here. It's still going from the shotgun.
That center must be tired.
That was a really tight window for that quarterback to throw in, so it really was a great pass after the initial pump fake. Cornerback was just not able to get there in time to break it up. You can see the replay right here. Setback pump fake almost, and seemed to fool most people. And a good job by the wide receiver to turn around, track the ball, and be able to slow down his body just enough to make sure that the ball didn't land in front of him. So these seem now to be a little bit more set called plays. You can see one of the staff members letting everyone know their assignments rather than having the quarterback call out 5 different routes for all of his receivers.
And the defenders, they keep rotating in and out, so if someone needs a breather, they come to the sideline, another defender pops in. So, excuse me, they're not necessarily doing massive line changes per se, but they are spotting players individually.
Right, and everyone wants their chance to shine, more or less. So everyone's going to want to be in there as much as they can. As you've kind of seen, I think this center has done a pretty good job in terms of making his debut pretty impressive. Don't want to take him off the field.
Yeah. My worry is that he's going to be stuck in that shotgun position the rest of the day because he's...
Yeah, you seem to see what looked to be some sort of miscommunication there. Ball landed in no man's land. Another single defensive or offensive player very near it. Here you get a great view of everything going on the field right now. You get a couple different overhead views. We've got 2 different field level views for you, so you can see just kind of what's going on pre-snap, what everyone's doing, and how they're getting their assignments, and a good view of how everyone's lining up before the snap.
And just to recap, so before this event took place, or before the individual drills took place, so we went through a series of scheduled events that are typical for a combine. We had the 40-yard dash, the 5x10x5, a broad jump, bench press, vertical leap, and then the L drill, or also known as the 3-cone drill. So all those drills took place with all of the players prior to moving into the individual drills, and now we're at the tail end of the individual drills, which is the passing drills. It started out with a quarterback and a receiver, and then it's expanded, and now we're on to 7-on-7 here. So we've expanded the passing drills as we've gone along and added in different elements, different positional players on both sides of the ball.
Right, and you got to figure that, as we've said all day, attrition and just general weariness is going to start to settle in. A lot of these players have been going at it. A lot of them showed up at noon today, or nearing up on 4:30 Central Time. So they've been going at it for over 4 hours for the most part. So these people that are still participating in these drills, they're starting to get tired, and they're going to have to be able to push through that and just finish out these last couple of individual drills.
Just outside of the reach of the receiver on that one.
You can see it was a pretty well set designed play. There wasn't much of a window for the quarterback to throw through, as you'll see on the replay here. He had him streaking a little bit down the sideline. Just put it out of his reach. May have noticed he had the safety coming in on the other side.
Yeah, safety on the other side. The cornerback did a good job staying with him there. Or maybe that was a linebacker.
So you can still see and you can hear some people having fun out there. They're still laughing. They're still having a good time. A lot of the people who aren't even still participating are standing around on the sidelines, just kind of still sticking around because they want to see their teammates and they want to see their fellow league mates play and or practice and put themselves on display for these scouts that are still in attendance here.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about teammates. So if I'm playing with 3-4 other players from my same team and they're out there doing the drill right now, I'm going to be rooting them on for certain. And just the players in the league in general. You know, everyone wants to see people have success. Now, having said that, by no means does that mean it's not competitive, because it is. If I'm the defender on the other side of it, I'm taking this very serious, as I am the offensive player.
Absolutely. But you know what? Knowing people sometimes makes it easy to compete. We'll get a replay here of the last play. Really strong step into the throw, and really pretty well placed where only the wide receiver could get it. The cornerback had pretty good coverage, but the wide receiver able to fall forward and catch it.
I'm waiting for them to come out of the huddle with a running play, but I'm not thinking that's going to happen here. So they could surprise us, though.
No, they seem pretty intent on getting their passing in, obviously. But it's interesting seeing them try, because they're obviously trying to get most of the people involved one way or another. So you've seen a couple wide receiver deep routes, curls. So you're seeing the wide receivers run all the different routes that the scouts are going to want to see. They're going to want to see, like we've said, crisp, clean routes. And that's what makes it easier for the quarterback, too. So in a way, teamwork is definitely taking the next level here, because it takes everyone looking good, or it takes one person looking good to make somebody else look good.
Right.
The wide receiver can only be as good as his quarterback, and vice versa. If the window's not there, it's not going to matter.
Yep, and that's it exactly. So you're talking about the amount of players. So as this drill has increased and we've added the number of players to each side, so too then is the choreography that has to take place for the offensive play to be successful, for the defense to be in position to defend. So you're relying on your teammates there, both positionally, tactically, all of that, to be able to be sound. So the more players you throw into the mix, obviously, the more game-like it is.
And that's why you've seen it get a little bit harder there. Obviously, coverage there was very good on the last play. The quarterback had nobody open and basically would have run out of time in the pocket and had to take it himself. Very close on that last play. Wide receiver laid out to try and get it. It seemed to be just out of his reach, just off of his hands.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have a replay on this. If we do, we'll get to see if it was catchable or not. It might have been.
It seems to have been catchable. I thought it was a little bit lower than that.
Yeah. No, it seemed to be in an area where he could have catch it. Maybe we've got this is a live look now. No, this is the replay.
Yeah, it looks like that maybe should have been caught.
Yeah. So one of those, he definitely would have wanted to catch.
You know what I mean? That's another thing we're looking to talk about earlier. Wide receivers nowadays are basically expected to catch everything that comes their way. In no way, shape, or form was that really an easy catch. He was still having to make a diving effort for it, but just the way we're so used to seeing, impossible balls get caught, that we expect that to be a piece of cake. Ooh, that was a very well thrown ball. Looked like the wide receiver just wasn't quite able to get his hands up and behind his head where the ball was. The ball could have been thrown a little bit more in front of him. He definitely had the wide receiver beat on that go route.
Yeah, that was the home run ball right there.
So you see in our replay. Going back to the live feed, I believe. Seems like things are still slowing down a little bit. They might be meeting to wrap things up, it looks like. Most of the players who are still here are wrapping up and joining in the center of the field. I'm sure getting their grades, or any sort of feedback that the coach may have for them.
And before we wrap up, we just also want to, again, extend our thanks to all of our production crew here who helped us be able to narrate this event for you and bring it to you live. Our camera operators, Rosa, Mario, we have Sean, Chris, we have Kyle, we have Ryan down, Corey orchestrating our cameras on the field level there, Pete Frary doing the production for us here, and as well as Chris Labasco. So
Rob Griffin as well, down as our field reporter,
our sideline reporter. Blake Elkins was here as well, assisting with this event. So,
and obviously thank you to Danelle and Anthony for stopping by.
Yep, our interviews, Calvin and Phillips, who we were able to interview down in the weight room there. So I just want to extend thanks to our production crew, the people who we were able to talk to in terms of interviews. We'd also like to thank the Gridiron Football League for allowing us to bring this event live to you. This is a great event for SportsTownChicago.com and the Illinois Media School, and we're happy to bring it to you live.
And it seems to be an all-around pretty successful event. I'm sure that the GFL is going to be pretty happy with the results. They had a pretty good turnout today, and on top of that, you saw some pretty darn good performances by some of the individuals.
Absolutely. I mean, when I saw some of those numbers, for the clubhouse leaders, so to speak, and some of those metrics for the combine, very impressive.
So like we said, you are watching the Gridiron Football League Combine here at the Mack Center in McCook, Illinois. They seem to be wrapping things up right now. As you can see, we have our top scores throughout the day. Calvin Phillips holding the record for the vertical jump and the broad jump at an almost insane 10 foot 6 inches. The best 40-yard dash went to Andre Locke with a 4.4. As we've said, that's an impressive number if you were in a college combine going for the NFL. Most reps on the bench press, Thomas Loving doesn't even tell the full story, as he had his second rep that also he had 23 more reps after that.
Which you and I thought was his first rep.
Which we were impressed with enough.
That was his second one. He had done 38 before that.
Maybe he just wanted to show off for the camera a little bit. And then obviously Artavius Nixon with leading the line drills for the day.
6.55, yeah. So some great times there. And here again, we get a good look at all the participants here who came for the combine. So and positionally where they play. So a great mix of positions in terms of offensive and defensive positions. So great to see these folks out here, and hopefully some of these players have opened the eyes of some of the talent evaluators, and if not, it sets them up nicely when they go into the league year, which for the GFL starts in May. On May 14th, the GFL will kick off the 2016 season. That will be their 10th season with a new 14-team league. So definitely the GFL will be looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely one way to kick off your decade birthday is to add 6 new teams. So hopefully some of these players will be finding new homes. Obviously some of them will be back. Hopefully there was a few juniors and seniors in high school who made their way in as well, who were either able to make impression or really just kind of learn. I'm sure this is, in a way, it's practice. So you're getting the opportunity to be here with amateur level coaches when all you've had so far probably in your life is exposure to high school coaches. So
right.
I'm sure the instruction and everything that they received here is extremely valuable to them.
Yeah, it's a different level of coaching. It's a different level of football that they're getting exposure to, and it gives them exposure to things that if they are looking to pursue college or some type of pro career, it gives them a good background in that.
And not only that, it allows them to network with other people who have kind of already gone through the experience. So obviously a lot of the people who are here in the GFL are either in college or they're out of college already, and it allows them to network and learn what experiences they've gone through. What can a high school kid expect going to go play college football somewhere? So I think having that camaraderie and learning from each other, as it seems like they're wrapping up on the field right now, is going to be invaluable for everyone that was involved.
So a good showing of participants today here at the Combine, and obviously we got to see some great performances, individual performances, and then when they got into the extended individual drills, we were able to see some unique performances as well. So all around, Brett, I think it was a good day for the participants and for the league.
Absolutely. I'm sure the GFL is going to be extremely happy with what happened. So I think we're going to wrap it up for today. Again, I'm Brett Gogol. I'm here with my host, Eric Willow-White. We want to thank you guys for joining us. We want to thank again our entire production crew. Everyone was great. And thank you to the Gridiron Football League for having us. I'm Brett Gogol, and I'm signing off for SportstownChicago.com.